The biggest myth in life is I don't know how. If you ever found yourself thinking or feeling as if what's stopping you from getting to where you'd like to be or getting what you want in life or being a specific version of yourself is because you don't know how, then you never really asked how. Because really all you've got to do is ask the right questions at the right time and you're gonna get answers. And to make sure that you're even asking questions often, because how else would you get answers if you're not asking questions whenever you're meant to ask them, whenever there's an opportunity for them to be answered through your external experiences. And this could be applied to anything. And this is actually something that I realized recently through speaking with some of my friends, because normally I had this thing going on, this assumption, and I believe that many others do have this assumption, do feel the same way, that we assume that whenever we're speaking with someone that we are on the same wavelength. And I used to be more like this in the past, but then I realized that that's not actually true. I readapted accordingly. Like, I used to assume that whenever someone makes an assumption or reach a conclusion that they had a checklist ticked off. But one of the things that I realized is that people don't ask enough questions. That people go on and make assumptions and build theories and reach conclusions without really asking questions that confirm those back at them. And so I want you to think about this. Assume that, for example, that you believe or feel that being at a low vibrations, being at a low frequency, that identifying with your negative state, identifying with whatever is hurting you, identifying with whatever is frustrating you in life is actually holding you back, is actually stopping you from getting the things you want and reaching the place you want in life, because you're never really getting to an energetic alignment with whatever you seek in life. But you only think about this from time to time and you never confirmed it to yourself. You never really asked the question and saw it answered before your own eyes. You've reached to that conclusion based on, what others says, what others are saying. You've heard it said many times before, and so you've identified with that belief. Or because even in retrospection, your own retrospection, due to your own retrospection, you've reached to that conclusion, you've made that assumption. Like you've experienced something in the past, and when you thought about it in retrospection, you found that, yeah, I've experienced that because I did that thing. I've experienced that because I was feeling in that way, because I was identifying with that specific state, with that specific occurrence in my life. I was at a very low frequency back then. And that's why my life turned out that way. That's why I got that experience. I had to experience that thing. But you never really confirmed it to your logical, conscious mind. And now it's just a hypothesis. Or a theory at best, if you've experienced it more than once and you revisited and you found that, yeah, every time this happens and every time I feel this way, this actually happens. Every time I do this thing, this happens. The problem here is that it never got confirmed to your logical mind, and so it never satisfied your logical mind, and it remained just that. And I'm not saying here that, we have to figure out everything, that we have to know the answer to everything, that we have to know how anything works in order for it to actually work out. That's not what I'm saying, and that's not something that I encourage, but I do believe that it really helps, especially since we are very bounded, since the majority of people are very bound by their logical mind. And the thing is about the logical conscious mind is that if you never satisfy it, if you never confirm it to your logical mind, you'll always feel as if there is a gap within you, as if you're just faking it. You're putting on a facade which is hanging on by a thread, which could collapse at any moment, and you would end up abandoning this belief, abandoning this thought or knowing even. But when you do actually confirm it to your logical mind, it quickly imprints onto your subconscious, and simultaneously your belief system, which determines everything in your life. Your belief system is what drives you in life, is what creates your experiences. You're only bound by your belief system. You're only bound by your beliefs. Your only limitations are your beliefs. Your only capabilities are your beliefs. You cannot create better than what you believe you are worthy of, than what you believe you could actually create. So if you don't think that you could ever be, if you could ever find a loving relationship, if you could ever build a family, if you cannot even think about it and feel the reality of it, it means that it's not part of your belief system. You're not currently aligned with that thought, and as such, it could never happen. If you can never see yourself as a millionaire, or that you have that everything you wanted in life, or you have that success, or you're living your dream reality, or you found success with your creative ideas, if you cannot, just imagine it and really identify with it, then it means it's not part of your belief system. You don't know anything about it. You never really saw yourself that way, and as such, you're bound by this. Your capabilities cannot exceed this imagination, this worthiness. And that's why it's very important to confirm it to your logical mind, especially if you are very identified with your logical conscious mind, because and then that quickly imprints onto your subconscious, and that feeds into your belief system, and now you have a new alignment formulated. But if you just leave it as a theory, and you go on and try to explore with it, you go on and try to build a life based on that theory, you will find that you are experiencing lots of complications. You'll find there's lots of loopholes and plot holes, and you keep repeating the same cycles, you keep repeating the same experiences, because you never really got it confirmed. And I want you to think now, I want you to think about this, and bear with me on this one, because it's a very elusive concept, but here it is. Assume that, building on that same example we gave earlier, you believe that, being at a low vibrations, being at a low frequency is what's holding you back from creating your dream reality, because you never really reach a vibrational alignment with that reality. But you only knew that based on your previous experiences. You've experienced one thing, and then you thought about it in retrospection, and you found that, yes, probably this is because I was already identified with, the bad things, the negative things going on in my life back then. And so I could not experience a breakthrough from them. I could not break free from them and create better experiences. I had to be bound by them, because that was my vibrations. That was my identification, negative experiences. But you never really got into something new and asked the question and made an assumption before going into that experience that, is this not gonna work out because I'm now feeling negative? So you see, you're only doing it after it happens. You're only thinking about it after it happens. You're only believing in it, knowing it after it happens, but never before it happens. But what happens when you change the formula? If you go into something and now you ask the question, I want to know if feeling down, feeling negative is actually what's holding me back from experiencing, from creating results, from seeing results with whatever I'm doing. And now you had the question, and now the universe knows that it could answer it to you, and it's gonna be irrelevant. That it won't have to repeat that cycle, because now you're really giving it some thought. You're really being aware of what's happening, and you're going into that experience. You're trying something new, or you're doing something small, whether it's major or minor things. You could apply to anything in life, with your relationships, with your business, with your money, with your job, with your life in general, with your friends. But go on and try, and it does not have to be feeling negative. It could be anything. You know, if you believe that a certain behavior or a specific habit or some actions or some ways of how you react are actually the things that's holding you back, try doing those things and ask the question. Keep the question in your mind, because when you have the question in your mind, it means that you're willing, you're open to receive an answer. But if you're already going to something assuming that, you know, yeah, it's because I'm doing this thing, it's gonna turn out bad, or if it's because I'm doing this thing, it's gonna turn out great, it's because I'm consistent, it's gonna work out, but maybe something else is holding you back. If you're already assuming that you know everything, then there's no reason for anything to be answered for you. And how do you know everything? Based on what others say, other people said, based on your own retrospection, after the experience had passed, you know, thinking about your past and figuring out some patterns. But that's not really enough to your logical mind to build on, to create new experiences on. But now, if it knows that you have it in your mind that you want to know the answer, you're asking the question, going into an experience, it's gonna make that experience turn out the right way. If you believe that you being at a low frequency, that you identifying with a negative state of being is holding you back, and you ask the question, is being at a negative state of being holding me back? And you go into an experience and you say that you want to see it with that experience. You want to see the answer through that experience. Try doing that thing and see how the results are of that thing. And it's gonna answer you right, because at this point it cannot give you a wrong answer, because if it gives you the wrong answer, now there's not really a wrong or a right answer, because you're only bound by your beliefs, you're only limited by your belief system. And it could be anything. You could turn it all the way around and it would still work out for you if that's truly what you believe in. But at this point, life is gonna give you the right way for this thing to work out. If what you've been doing is holding you back, that thing is not going to work out. If what you've been doing wasn't really holding you back, then that thing is going to work out. Because this now becomes a crucial moment in your life. Because if whatever you've been doing is actually holding you back, and now this thing works out while you're having that question in your mind, there's really a clash of interest. Now you're gonna keep doing the thing that's holding you back, yet believe that it's not what's holding you back. Now this is your new belief system. You were doing the things, you were feeling that way that you believe is holding you back, but it did not reflect in your external experience. And now you're gonna start believing, feeling, thinking, knowing that that's actually not holding you back. And you know, simultaneously it will stop actually holding you back. But if life wants you to stop, if this conscious divine, pure conscious divine energy wants you to feel good, wants you to identify with the gratitude, with the good things in your life, in order for your life to work out, then it's gonna give you that sign. But if it does not give you that sign, and your experience works out while you remain feeling bad or negative and identified with a low frequency, then it means that you could go on. That's the best, to the best of your knowledge. That's, you know, confirmed to your brain, confirmed to your logical mind. And now you're only bound by your knowledge, and that became the best of your knowledge. You saw yourself, you saw that experience work out while you were feeling, while you were being at a low frequency, while you were being at a low vibration state of being. And that's when it gets confirmed. Now you have a framework. Now the logical mind has a framework that it could build on new experiences. And now you could go on. Now it's not just, you know, an assumption that could collapse at any point, a theory or a hypothesis, but it's actually a belief. It's actually a knowing. I know that if I do this, but the thing here is that now you become really bound to this knowing. If it got confirmed to you, then you have to stick with it in order for anything to work out in your life. Because now it is a confirmation. It's not an affirmation. It's not a theory. It's not a hypothesis. It's a confirmation to your mind, to your subconscious, to your belief system, to your energy, to whatever you radiate, to whatever you're able to create, to whatever you're limited by, and you have to bind yourself with that thing in order for you to be able to create, to build on in the future. Now, once again, I'm not saying that you have to figure out everything, that you have to know how this or that works in order for you to make it work out. You can make things work out without knowing how, but I'm saying that it actually helps. I do really feel that it really helps, especially with people who are very identified with their logical minds, because now your logical mind is satisfied. Once it sees this pattern turn out in front of it, of your own eyes, now it knows what to expect. It knows that this is confirmed, yes, through retrospection, through what others say, and even more through me asking the question and getting an answer through an external experience, through my external reality, which is almost a foul-proof answer to your brain, to the logical mind, especially if it was building on a theory. And now you could answer more and more questions. You could ask more and more questions, and you're gonna have the framework in your mind. Now your logical mind is satisfied, it knows what to expect, and now it has basis to share with others. So, you know, this is even one of the limitations, because if you don't know how it works out, if it was only just built on theory, perhaps you have the wrong theory, you have it the wrong way around, and you plan on sharing it with others, you plan on telling someone about it, then you probably could share a wrong piece of information that could influence other people's lives. And so you're gonna keep repeating a specific experience until you really ask how, until you get that question answered and confirmed to your logical mind, in order for it to be a valid part of your journey. Again, it's not a necessary part of your journey, because you don't have to know how each and everything works out, but it helps. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to another video by AfsConsciousFrequency. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much, and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it.